Well, there is some pressure because I got to pay my bills, and I do have a husband who has a full-time job, so that's helpful as well. But the job, I hated the job. I really did, and but I could never get myself to leave. And finally, it was almost like everything converged together, and it was just time.
With as hard as life can be, I wouldn't ask to change a thing. Everything I've been through brought me closer to you. You worth it.
Today we're talking to Cyndi Robirds, the founder of Blockchain Homes, a company rethinking how we understand the biggest purchase many people ever make, their home. Cyndi's building a platform to create a verified, transparent history of a home, and we're here for it because right now, that information is often scattered, inconsistent, and sometimes missing altogether. We get into what it actually took to turn that idea into something new, from early stage concept to getting ready for funding, and the lessons she's learned about launching, raising capital, and building for a traditional slow-moving industry. Welcome to LFG with AQI. Hello, Cyndi.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for being here today. So we're gonna kind of just jump in and talk about how you just started, what was going on in your mind in the background before you started Blockchain Homes?
Yeah, I've been in the real estate industry for over 16 years now, and as a real estate agent, a licensed agent, I was helping a lot of people buy homes, and I found that oftentimes there would be things that would come up that we didn't see at the time of the sale of the home. And not only that, but my husband and I, we flipped our own houses, and we oftentimes would find things that we didn't realize would be a problem too. So I did surveys of a lot of home buyers, and I found that within the first 3 years of buying a home, people would spend between $1,000 to $200,000 on a home on repairs that they didn't know. And so the other thing is that as an agent, we know that when people pass away and they have to sell the house, it's usually the family that sells the house, but they're exempt from sharing anything about the house. There's a lot of things that just happen, or if somebody's owned the home so long that they forget all the stuff that they did to the house. So a lot of the times we find that when the house is sold, all the information about the house leaves with the seller. And so our goal is to keep all of the information with the property and to stay with the property.
Okay. So you said that there was a problem. You saw that you needed to have this information. Yeah. So what made you come up with the solution?
Yeah, so I got into blockchain technology in 2017, and I realized the value of a database system that becomes immutable, meaning that you can't change the information ever. It stays on there for the lifetime of forever. And so that to me gave me, it started ringing my bells and saying, hello, we could simply just, if we put the data on with the property, then it will never change on blockchain technology. And so with that was kind of the key point for it, was the technology that came in. And we're evolving in technology anyway. And right now we've already been, a lot of industries, and real estate is actually behind when it comes to blockchain technology. So it's time to step up.
Yeah, I love that you came up with this solution to the problem that obviously having that information about your house is important, right?
Yeah.
And we've all been there if we've bought a house and then we need to, you have termites or you have something else that you just don't know. So I love that your product is gonna really give that history. What's been the hardest part of building this?
The hard part about building this was I didn't know where to begin. And I had a great idea that's percolated in my brain for probably 2 years, and it just kept going. And then I just kept sharing it with people and trying to find the right people that would help me. And I had a friend who one day said, hey, Cyndi, there's a America Seed Fund conference going on. Jump in. And then I learned about the people that are local that can help me. And so the evolution of this is that I've discovered that networking and usually leads you to the next person, to the next person, and they introduce you to the next person, and things kind of move on. But I want to say that being a founder for something that is so out of the box is a lonely place to be. And I think it's critical to find that networking groups that you can hang out with and talk to other founders, talk to investors, that even if you get no's, which I find that I'm not scared of no's. No's actually lead you into the growth of moving forward, and that is so critical. It's valuable. You just keep talking, you keep networking, and it keeps you and it helps you to fine tune what you really want to do too.
Yeah.
So and that's the beauty of actually in Omaha, we have the real ability to. Well, everybody knows somebody here, and that's kind of a nice place to be.
Yeah. And if people are listening from other places, Omaha is truly a 1 degree city.
Yeah.
It's like if it's like that 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Omaha's a 1 degree of somebody else, of Warren Buffett.
Yes.
Like 1 degree of Warren Buffett.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's so true. Have you felt some pressure building this? Because you recently quit your full-time job. This is your job. So what was that thing that you said, now's the time? And then how do you balance the pressure for that? Or is there pressure for you?
Well, there is some pressure because I got to pay my bills, you know, and I do have a husband who has a full-time job, so that's helpful as well. But you know, the job, I hated the job. I really did, but I could never get myself to leave. And finally, it was almost like everything converged together, and it was just time.
Yeah.
And
the universe aligned.
Yes.
Like everything that needed to happen. And
Bingo.
then did you feel it in your gut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. I kept telling my husband, I hate this job. I just want to do this because this is my passion. You know, this is where, and you know, and the other thing about, and this is going to sound funny, I'm sure, but it's just the right way for me to say it, is that when you find your purpose of what you want to do in life, you experience what I call spiritual orgasms. And it is just the moment makes you feel right, and you just keep going for the next spiritual orgasm, and it just keeps you moving forward. That is where I'm at with this business. I
love that. Oh my gosh. That is such a good way to put it, because it does. It just like your whole body aligns, and you're like, yes, I'm on the right thing. And then do you find that the pieces start falling in place too? You mentioned that a little earlier, like you think you meet the people you need at the time.
Yep.
That the universe kind of just brings them to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Awesome. Tell me about a little bit. So you're still building the app. Who did you choose to build your app with?
I'm working with Nebraska Innovation Labs, and I had interviewed several, and I really felt like I got a lot of really good support from them, and so they've been great. They really have. I'm ready to roll.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Shout out to Nebraska Innovation Labs. They actually built our API on Equitas Invest's platform. So yeah, they're really great to work with. So I'm glad that you chose them. That'll work out nicely. I didn't even know that, so that was like a surprise. That's part of the podcast. That's great. They're really great to work with. So we kind of talked about what gave you that final push to get going. What does it look like for you, kind of the day-to-day? Like, what are you working on every day as you try to get your business a little further each day? Yeah,
because I have something that's so out of the box, I find that I have to educate. And so I teach a class, and now I teach it in 4 different states, so I've kind of really spread out. It's exciting stuff. When people really kind of understand what it is, they go, oh, yes, aha, and they move forward. So I teach, I network, again, with others, always talking to others, always applying for grants, always applying for funding, and finding the right people that would be the best for my business. For example, like a co-founder, a CTO, those are things that I really have to, and I've had to say no to a couple people because that's important. It's about aligning with your business, and not only that, but I'm leading it, and I am the CEO. I am the person that's in charge of it, and I have value in that. And I know the goals. I know that the dreams. and the vision of moving forward with this, and I need those right people. So I'm always looking for those type of people. I'm always asking questions to people, and again, it's all about that networking.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to jump into the funding portion of your decision going forward, but first I want to talk about you're a real expert in this blockchain. I mean, you teach in 4 different states in different universities. Tell us, let's dig in a little bit. What is blockchain for those of us that might not know about it?
Yeah.
And why does blockchain is the perfect solution for what you're going to be applying it to keep that history of homes?
Yeah, well, I find that this is I do it as a 3-hour class, and there's not enough time. So to narrow it down even more, I will just really simplify it, that it is a database system, is what it is. And it's an immutable system, and it's decentralized, meaning that the information is scattered, but it is, they all validate the information together. And so once that happens, they lock that information and it can never be changed. So that's the value of the blockchain piece of it, because when you look at the real estate industry, you have that data that is so scattered, but everybody owns their own data, right? This is shared data that everybody in the real estate industry could share and move forward together. And it makes the actual real estate transaction be faster too. So it's like a win-win in many different areas.
That's incredible. Once you have this built out, how will you introduce it to like real estate agents, or like how will you take it to market?
Yeah, so I've already been teaching to real estate agents, but I'm also working with title companies to put the actual deed on blockchain. And I do have a title company here, and maybe 2, that are very excited about doing this project with me. I'm really excited about working with them as well. So title company and real estate agents, and my next would be the home builders and contractors. And so it's bringing all the people in that actually have their feet into doing this, and also the county recorder. But the county recorder will be working with the title company. But I'm bringing them in the loop as well.
Yeah. So you're really making this best practice.
Yeah.
And you're creating something that could go national.
Yeah.
That is best practice. So the sky's the limit for you, it seems. Where do you see the company in 5 years?
I see us being national. Yes, definitely. And so as the financial technology changes, I see that as actually influencing the real estate industry as well. So we'll be moving forward in that way, and all of it's going to tie together. And so with that piece happening, because we've just last year passed the Genius Act, a federal bill that brings in and legalizes stablecoins. And so stablecoins is on blockchain technology. So we're looking at moving and evolving in a different way technology-wise. So blockchain homes just fits right in there, and that once all of those pieces come together, it's a no-brainer.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I just heard Heath Mello. He's our Omaha Chamber president. He just spoke at my Rotary the other day, and he was talking about how Omaha in the last couple of years has been the top place to buy a home. Like it's affordable, like it's a really good housing market. It seems like that really aligns with your business plan, that Omaha is such a great place to come into and to buy a home. Did you kind of think about that? That was like part of that alignment for you?
Oh yeah. So we have some major, actually national home builders that have moved in, and there's more moving in. And so the rate of the growth of Omaha right now is going to be exponential. I mean, it's mind-blowing kind of how Omaha has become. And not only that, but Omaha, in my mind, should become the blockchain central of the Silicon Prairie. And so that's my goal as well.
That's great. I love that. So let's kind of talk about funding. So when you came up with your business plan, you want to launch your company, did you think about working with VCs?
I did. Initially, I was like, I'm going to do this all on my own.
So you're going to just, what did that look like to you? Like, how did it look like funding on your own?
That was frustrating.
Because sidebar, I hear other women say that, and then they're like, I'm going to get a second mortgage. I'm going to like cash in my 401k. What were you thinking when you thought that?
Yeah, we were going to sell our house. We were going to take the equity out of our house. But that's a risk. That's a huge risk. And then as I networked, I really started to really realize that venture funding is a good thing to do, and it's okay to have that support. And so that's where I went. I looked at several different companies, and I looked at AQI as well. And I'm excited about working with AQI because the amount of funding that I could get in the crowdfunding it protects me in a way as a founder to be able to grow even more because I'm not giving away as much of my equity to multiple investors. So, and that's why I'm really excited about the crowdfunding.
That's great. So, yeah, you've chosen to be AQI's first issuer. So
Yeah.
we're so excited to have you and so excited to partner. But crowdfunding looks a little different than working with VCs.
Yes.
So we kind of just talked about the funding. Let's kind of talk about the grind. You mentioned a little earlier that it can be lonely, like building a business is lonely.
Yeah.
Have you found community and have you found peers that are building simultaneously as you? And how do you, if you have, how do you get support from that and kind of lean in? So I think of it as like toddlers co-playing, but like, like CEOs kind of co-building together.
Yeah.
Have you found that community for yourself?
I have not yet.
Okay.
But there is 1 Million Cups. They are fantastic. They get together every Wednesday. And just being able to introduce yourself to other people that are going through the same journey as you or similar journey, that's kind of it's kind of like, it's refreshing and allows me to realize that, okay, I'm not alone. But that's one of the biggest ones that I have found so far. But I'm yet to, and I plan, because I've already had groups where they're meeting together to do a dinner together and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to those events as they come up. And but there are other companies similar to what I'm doing, but I have a different path on how I want to do it. So I've been involved with them for years, and I found that it just wasn't what I was looking for. So therefore, that's why I started my own little path and direction. So
yeah, that's great. Do you have an idea of when your app might be available?
Well, the first part of it, just putting the deed on to the blockchain, I'm hoping by the end of the Q3 of this year.
Wow.
So I'm a go-getter, and I don't want to. I'm not one to sit there and dilly-dally. I've been going at this for some time. Now, that is what I call the property vault part of it, where we're putting the deed into a vault so that it'll help reduce fraud as well, deed fraud. And then the other piece of it is the property on chain. And property on chain is like a Carfax for houses. And that's what we're really putting together a lot of that. That'll be a little more of a build out, but to just get a pilot going, probably by the end of this year is my hope.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's always amazes me how fast like things can really roll. And it sounds like you're a real activator. Like
I am.
You're going. Like, let's get this girl, right?
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give to other women who have an idea, but they just quite don't know where to start?
Yeah. I would say listen to your inner self, because when you align with that purpose, it can seem like your path is just not quite ready to move forward. It's fine. When you keep listening to it, though, and you keep moving one foot in front of the other, even if it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere, trust me, you are. And that's the beauty of life in general, right? It doesn't go from point A to point B. It goes like this. It zigzags this way there, and you're still going to get there, and you're still going to find the right people to never give up.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How can people support or follow your journey?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Blockchain Homes is on LinkedIn, and also Blockchain Homes is on Facebook. Those are my two main reaching out points. And for my teaching and education piece of it, is called Siegel Blockchain Consulting, and you can find those on the same LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So those are the best places to reach out.
Great. And then also they can do purchase some pieces of your company on crowdfunding on AQI.
Absolutely.
So that is equitosinvest.com/blockchain homes, and that's going to be available next week. So this video is going to be available on that offering page, so people can watch it there. And is there anything else that you'd like to say?
No, I think we've covered quite a bit. This is just an exciting journey. I'm really, really excited about this because this is, it's a dream come true. That's what it is.
Well, thank you so much, Cyndi. It's so great to have you, and I really appreciate your time, and we're so excited
Thank
for
you.
Blockchain Homes.
Thank you.
Let's go. LFG. Sidebar for our investors and the SEC. Investing in Reg CF offerings involves risk, including illiquidity and the possible loss of your entire investment.
With as hard as life can be, I wouldn't ask to change a thing.